Saagar, what are you looking at?
Part of the reason that I love doing this show is that Crystal and I are truly free of the day-to-day news cycle. And if we want and don't have to rely on clicks or algorithms to ensure our success. Instead, it gives us the space when we would like to dive a little bit deeper. Look at our politics, the state of our country, and our culture. Point out to all of you some of the reasons that all of us are living life the way that we are. Why are we so frustrated? What needs to be fixed? I stumbled across a quote yesterday on Instagram. It actually really hit home to me. I wanted to share it with all of you. It's an excerpt from The Demon-Haunted World by Carl Sagan in 1995. Quote, I have a foreboding of an America in my children or grandchildren's time, when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all key manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost their ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority. Adding that our critical faculties in decline will be unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true. We slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness. I truncated that quote slightly. I encourage you all to go read the full thing. But I'm just struck by how absolutely spot on that rings today. We feel increasingly disconnected, consumed with short-form media. As Carl says in there, 30-second sound bites have been reduced to 10. He predicted the rise of TikTok in 1995. And look, I'm not a technological doomerist or anything, but increasingly, especially after a year of isolation for so many, I look around and I just feel like there's a tension in the air that gets thicker. And that's not just, it turns out you can actually kind of quantify that. The number of Americans who are reporting lots of close friends is down dramatically. In 1990, around the time that Carl Sagan wrote that book, 33% of Americans said they had 10 or more close friends, not counting relatives. The distinct minority were the 3% of Americans who said they only had 3 close friends, including relatives, with varying percentages that you can see there. Now, in 2021, the number of Americans reporting 10 or more close friends, that dropped to 13% of Americans, a full 20% decline. And it's not like it was spread out. The number of Americans who reported between 6 and 9 friends in 1990 is now roughly equal to the 12% of Americans in 2021 who say they have none, 0 close friends. In 1990, that wasn't even a statistically significant category. It didn't even rate. Not many people even had any no close friends. So the pandemic wasn't the only cause. The main one seems to be this: Americans are working longer hours and traveling more for work than ever before. It seems to have come at the cost of maintaining close friendships. Those close friends who you do still have, well, statistically today, you are much more, orders of magnitude more likely to make friends at work than anywhere else, including school, in your neighborhood, in your place of worship if you attend one, or even through your existing friends. Again, I don't want to paint too devastating of a picture here. People still have best friends. Many people have situational friends. But what I really see in the data is the total loss of community for a lot of Americans and the true triumph of the professional managerial class over everyone else. Now, I am one of these archetypal PMC Americans in a lot of ways. First generation American, grew up in a smaller town, moved to a major metropolis for college, never left, work in the service sector. All of the people that I'm friends with in DC generally are people I met through work or work-related activities. This is the life of the cosmopolitan elite. It has been that way for decades. But the difference is that unlike in 1990, the elites have now structured the economy even more so, such that everybody now has to live life the way that they do. Now, I fully recognize that the way that I and many of my friends live is not for most people. And there is nothing wrong with that. The problem that we have is that because we have a top-down economy and culture, elites have transferred their love of work down to people who don't necessarily want to live this way. They have transferred their lack of connection to geographical places to people who really enjoy living 10 miles away from their mom. And they have transferred their indifference to marriage and having kids down to many of the people who want to do so much earlier than they are, but are not able to do so for economic reasons. I don't want to say any of this to bum you out, only to say what we have is pretty precious and we should fight for it. And we shouldn't allow people, frankly, who are like me to have all the power in the world. Work is important, but it shouldn't be everything. I mean, look, the worst times I ever had in life were moments where you put work before everything. And yet, that's the value set that we've cherished. And we have now forced most Americans to comply and live their lives this way. Coming back to Carl Sagan's quote, I think it comments about the power in the hands of the few is what matters most. The keys to power, be it technology, government, cultural, or economic, all lie in the hands of fewer people than ever before in modern American history, and the populace is increasingly distracted to their benefit. Watching videos and engaging in algorithms or work that adds billions to bottom lines, while people lose all of the things that make life worth living. The only way out of this hellish system is to change it. And the luck that we have is that there are enough people out there who aren't too old, who still have a chance. So let's just do what the boomers did. Let's just change the country to the way that we want it. Our lives and our happiness actually can literally depend on it. I thought this data was really interesting, Crystal.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.